Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, The Darling Talk Show. Here I am, of course, showing face. It has been a while since I came on here to show face and have a conversation with you guys, right? I think it's been about 2.5 months since the last time you guys saw one of the episodes from the Darling Talk Show. And season, of course, is over. Season 4 was amazing, but I did wanted to come on here and give you guys a live update about what's happening with the show and with myself. Of course, just a lot of things always changing and evolving over here. So if you're interested in watching, just keep on watching. So don't mind me, I got my ginger ale. Okay, this is ginger ale right here as we speak. So let's get right into it, y'all. Let me just say that I'm very grateful for every single one of you who tuned in every single week of the Darling Talk Show. Season 4 was a success. I saw so much growth. Even when it comes to subscribers, like the watch hours, like you guys really supported, right? And then I just appreciate the fact that like you guys love the episodes and the conversations. I also believe that I had amazing guests on this last season, so which made the conversation so much better and so much more inspiring and just amazing. If you want to know, other people always ask me which one was my favorite episode of the entire season. And that's a hard question for me because I really enjoyed so many. But I think I'll say that one of my favorite ones, my favorite episodes was the conversation that I had with the girls family, the couple that I had, the married couple that I had on the show. They dropped so many gems when it came to marriage, and I love that episode. Like I feel like I can always go back to rewatch that, and I'm gonna always, like learn or get something different out of that conversation. So, yeah. On another note, I haven't talked about this with anyone honestly, but I do feel like I have to speak about this, not in so much like detail, but I do believe that it is important for people to know. So the 11 episodes that I had, the second half of the season 4, as you guys noticed, we had a whole different setup and a whole different vibe, a different studio, and of course you guys know that costs a lot of money. So I ended up actually partnering with this company, which I'm not gonna even mention the company's name. They reached out to me at the time. Of course, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Who's calling me? What happened was I was dating this guy who pretty much saw some potential in me and my show, and then he wanted to invest in the show. And one thing that I've learned is that do not mix your like love and do not mix pleasure and in business. Okay, don't mix the two. And that was the biggest lesson that I had for me in this situation. So of course he invested in my show, did all the things which I was grateful for, because honestly no one else had ever invested anything into anything that I've done like this, right? Especially my show. So every single video you guys have seen on the Darling Talk Show has been me, okay? Me paying for every single episode, and it is not something that is very affordable, y'all, but I already, I had it going on. So for me, it's like I don't necessarily need to do this, but why not take the opportunity if you do see this potential in me, right? So I said yes, of course, and we ended up like doing the whole thing. Of course, things between me and him as a relationship did not work out, and so that really made everything go left, okay? He was trying to do this whole business thing, talking about wanting to have ownership of episodes and this and that, and that's when I lost it, because I was like, what we're not going to do is, you're not going to come in here and try to take advantage of my situation. No, because I never even asked you to do this for me, right? I never even asked for anything. So that's pretty much what happened. And I ended up just removing myself completely, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not signing no contract. I'm not signing anything, because again, I didn't ask you for any of this. Thankfully, I have my videos. Everything is still there, and I don't want to go much more into detail about this, because I don't want to make this a big deal. But technically, That's really what happened. And so if you guys see next year that we have a whole different setup, or whatever happens next year whenever I come back with season 5, I don't want you guys to be surprised or to be just wondering what's going on, right? Because for me, it is important for me to be transparent with my audience. Of course, not everything needs to be said, but I do believe that there has to be some type of like transparency so that people know what's going on. I think it's just fair. That's that, okay, with the show. Season 5 is coming up next year. I don't have a date just yet, but we're working on it. So stay tuned. Make sure you follow us on the Darling Talk Show on Instagram so you can stay updated with anything else. And also, if you haven't watched any episodes, you can still go and watch, okay? You can binge watch. The episodes are there for you to just have fun. My life, okay? Let's talk about me. What I have going on. What has been happening in my world. To make the long story short, your girl has been, I'm gonna say that life has been, this year at least, was amazing. 2025 was a much better year for me compared to previous years. I feel like in the last 5 years I have been fighting for my life, okay? In the sense that things were just always going left, right? So the beginning of this year, I started working at this company. I ended up getting hired to work there, and I was super, super happy to be working there. And I really enjoyed just being part of the company for the few months that I was there. So I was there for about 8 months. Yeah, like 8 months. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I ended up quitting the job because I just wasn't happy there. I was always drained, number one. I did not feel like I'm not even going to talk about the pay, because the pay, I feel like jobs these days don't want to pay you regardless unless you're doing something major. But just me and my mental health, I just wasn't doing well. Like, my mental health was rock bottom. I constantly also felt like I was dealing with a manager who was trying to always find an issue with me and the things that I was doing, and I just didn't feel appreciated. I felt like I was being tolerated. And I don't like to be in these spaces like that, especially because I know my worth. I know that I'm a good worker, and I also do know that I'm like, in whatever table that I'm in, I bring a lot of value, right? And so just because you're paying me does not mean that I'm going to just suck it up and just be miserable, because at that point I was very miserable, okay? So long story short, I left the job back in like October, and the beginning of October actually. And so it's been life has not been bad, to be honest. Of course things could always be better, but I'm also so grateful, and I'm learning to just be grateful and just to not complain, and to just be grateful to with what the things that I have, and I focus so much on what I'm lacking, right? Because when you start doing that, you start to miss the bigger picture or what God is trying to do with you. So right now I'm literally self-employed, y'all. I have been working with brands and companies with their to better their content, their marketing on social media. So a few years ago I was actually coaching brands with that, and I did realize something. I was like, a lot of people don't necessarily want to be paying someone for advice on marketing anymore, because most of the things are already online. But what brands are missing, especially like small companies, small business owners, what they're missing is creating the content and actually posting and having a posting schedule and doing all that work, right? So that's where I come in, right? So like what I'm doing is pretty much curating their content for the month, and that's that. It's making it easier for them. That way they can just post and do what works for them. That's all I'm doing, creating the content for them. So if you are someone who is currently looking for somebody who can help them with their content, I do have 3 different packages. You can email me at hello@dalexadarling.net, and I can give you pricing and just pretty much talk to you about what it looks like working with me. Additionally to that, I literally feel like the Lord has really just been working on me, because I remember back in 2022 I did the whole year without a 9 to 5. I was like, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. I don't need to work for nobody. And that was very hard because I didn't have a plan, right? Now, this time, before I got hired at Industrious, I remember asking the Lord to really help me with my patience and to humble me, because there's nothing wrong with working 9 to 5. And I didn't want to believe that there's something wrong with that, right? Because at some point I did feel like that. I'm like, I don't want to work for nobody. I don't need to be working for nobody. But that was a lot of pride and ego. And the thing is, you're going to always work for somebody. Let's just be real. Either you're going to work with someone or you're going to work for someone, right? So I had to learn that it is okay to work for someone else or work with someone else. But, you know, God just needed to work on my character. And I think that that's the reason why he placed me at that last job, because I literally tried everything I could to keep the job or just keep the peace of the job or whatever the case may be. But what I've learned is that the Lord does not want me to be working a 9 to 5. Like, that is not what he has for me. And I have been truly, y'all, like, trying to just do this and live in survival mode because I'm scared to just go full force with me, just with the things that I can do. I'm in the season of my life right now where I'm fully trusting God, and I am allowing him to take full control of my life, my career, everything that I'm doing, because I am tired of trying to do life on my own. So that is really what's happening right now. I'm actually, not complaining. God is good. And looking forward to working with you if you are looking for someone to help you with your content. Okay. Moving on, I also am in school. So a lot of you guys probably do know this, but a lot of you guys probably don't know this. So I am a student currently, y'all. I went back to school, and I'm getting my bachelor's in communications and new media. So yay me. I think I started going to school back in September of this year. I am currently in my second term, so I'm finishing my second term literally this month, next week. And after that, we're just gonna keep going. And it's so funny because I never thought that I would be able to juggle school at this age, especially with all the things that I have going on. But what I've learned is that it's all about finding a routine and just sticking to it, right? And that has helped me so much to the point that I'm currently, in my last term, I was in the honor roll. Because I got A's in all my classes. Yay me. Okay. Yup. Let's toast to that. Cheers, because your girl got A's in her classes. Okay. So yeah, let me toast real quick. Hold on. Yep. So anyway, doing great in school, and I'm literally getting ready to enter my third term, y'all. That is crazy because life and time just be going by so fast, and sometimes we think that it's too late to go back to school or it's too late to do something else because we're getting older or whatever the case may be. And I really had that thought in my head. But no, enough is enough. I'm like, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna go get my bachelor's, and I'm gonna eventually build from there, right? Because I literally got sick of just having a job or just working a job and not having a career outside of my influencing creative, things that I do out here. So that is pretty much it. What else? Oh, also, your girl is dating again. Okay, I'm actually dating and getting to know someone currently, and I don't want to talk much about it because it's still very new. But it's just been so refreshing getting to know someone that is very different, that is very open-minded, that is a gentleman, someone who literally makes me feel, someone that is just kind to me, right? I think that I have experienced so much like heartbreak and so many toxic men in the past. It's just refreshing actually, like, getting to know someone that is the opposite of that. So I'm excited. I'm enjoying it, taking my time, of course, learning each other and just seeing where things go. And that's pretty much it, y'all. I don't really have anything else going on. Of course, if you want to keep up with my life, follow me on Instagram or TikTok. My mom and I also now open a new page together, so check it out. It is called 2 Generations Deep. and we're just basically going to be sharing our life, you know, a little bit about us, culture, things as well, and we're just going to be us. So follow us on Instagram. So let's stay connected, and I just want to say thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you do, and also click the bell so that you won't miss any of, you know, future videos. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next one. Bye.